Women, what has been your worst experience dating a stingy man? Story 1. When I was young, the guy I liked told me, "I'll take you out to eat tomorrow at 6 in the evening," and I was thrilled. The next day, he called me before leaving his house and said, "I'm on my way to your place," and I was ready to go out with him. When the doorbell rang at my house, I excitedly went to open the door, and guess what? He arrived with fish, onion, tomato, bell pepper, cilantro, lemon, and rice for me to make a snack. I said, "I'm not going to prepare anything for you. I thought we were going out." He said, "No, that's too much expense." My mom looked at me sternly and signaled me to kick him out of the house, so I did, and that was the end of it. Story 2. We went to the movies with gift tickets, the ones the cinema gives you as an employee benefit, and he charged me for them. I still bought myself a soda and some small popcorn because he didn't want anything, but in the end, I offered him some popcorn, and he took the entire container and ate them all. Story 3. I went out with a guy who invited me for ice cream and paid with expired coupons. I was so embarrassed that I had to pay, and then on my birthday, he gave me a stuffed animal from his little sister. Story 4. I went out with a guy who never paid for meals. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that I caught him taking the tips I left for the waiters. When I confronted him, he said they work as waiters and get paid. The tip is just a gratuity they don't deserve. Story 5. I dated someone who had to travel about 30 minutes by public transport to see me, and he would ask me to pay half of what he spent on transportation, basically, my humble moment. Every time he left, he would ask me for money for the fare, and I would be prepared with coins to give him. Story 6. Once I asked my ex for flowers. We passed by a cemetery, and he went in to pick a white rose from a grave. I was like, what the heck? I went in and returned the rose to the poor dead person. Story 7. I went to dinner with a guy. Everything was fine until I didn't finish my meal and asked for the leftovers to take away. He started scolding me, asking why I had ordered it if I wasn't going to finish it. He paid the bill, and when the waiter brought the leftovers, he took them and put them in his backpack. Story 8. Once my ex and I went to eat at a friend's house with their family. We made spaghetti with tomato sauce. There were leftover noodles in a packet, and unbelievably, he asked for them to take back home. Story 9. I went out with a guy who never invited me for anything, not even water. When I wanted something, obviously I bought it, and he ended up eating it. When I asked him why he didn't buy one for himself, he said, "Because it costs money." Story 10. He invited me on a date, but then we agreed to meet somewhere else, and he told me he wouldn't make it to the agreed place, so I should wait for him elsewhere. I did, and he arrived in his car. In the end, we stopped at a gas station, and he asked me to lend him money to put gas in the car. Not content with that, he wanted to take me to his house, claiming it was his. I said no, and he got angry and left. After I had paid for the gas, he still wanted to take me. Ridiculous. Story 11. I was about to go out alone, and he offered to accompany me. He always wanted to go out with me, so I thought it was a good idea. But I never imagined that when he said accompany me, I would have to pay even for the gasoline for the car, including treating him to food and buying him drinks. Story 12. Once I went out with a guy. He said we would meet at a shopping center, then he asked me what I wanted, but that he had little money. So, he suggested going to a square to eat fruit salad. There he asked if I would pay. I said I would pay for mine, and that's how it was. Then he said, "You didn't pay for me, you're so mean." Later, he ordered some milkshakes. I thought he would pay for them, but he said, "Now it's your turn to pay." He wanted me to pay. I didn't pay. I told him, "Let me go to the bathroom." I ran and never spoke to him again. Story 13. He invited me out, literally just to go out. We met, and I wanted to take a taxi, but he preferred to walk. So I had to pay for the taxi. It was lunchtime, and since I was hungry, I had to pay for the food because, as I said, literally just to go out. And then I had to give him money for the bus because he had none. Adolescent stuff that one laughs about now. Obviously, I never went out with him again. Story 14. I have a friend whose boyfriend took her to a Rolling Stones concert, but to save money, they stayed outside. They said the sound was really good. Story 15. He invited me to the movies and said, "We're not buying any food because we're here for the movie, not to eat," and I got annoyed. I told him, "I'll buy some popcorn and a drink," and the jerk ended up eating my popcorn. The good thing is he was very handsome. Story 16. There was a guy at my job who always boasted about his income, bank accounts, properties, etc. Once, when we went out to eat with a group of friends, he ordered the most expensive item on the menu, lobster, because he thought we would split the bill equally. When he saw that everyone would pay for their own, he sent me a text message asking to borrow money because he only had 200 pesos, and to top it off, when we got up to leave, he was seen taking money from the tip we left. Story 17. A guy who wanted to date me invited me for ice cream. Guess who had to pay? And he even ordered one for his mom because he said she liked them. Story 18. My ex-husband, when he left, took even the shower curtain that I had received as a Mother's Day gift. He hid everything in his closet to not share. Even the batteries for the remote he made me pay because I watched more TV than him. Story 19. Every time we went out, he never brought money and always came up with an excuse not to pay. On our last date, we went out to eat, and he claimed he forgot his wallet, so I forgot he was with me and left. Story 20. He said, "What if we break up before Valentine's Day and get back together the next day?" I took it as a joke, but over time, I understood that he was very stingy and wanted to save as much as he could.